I don't have a lot of time to say this, but I gotta get something off my chest. Last night, my house threw a party, and I thought that we all finally got along. We had a good time. But we got so many protests, we broke so many rules, and we got booted off campus. You know, it used to be the administration's job to make rules. It used to be us against them, now it's us against us.
What do we eat?
Red meat!
Why don't we eat it?
Murder!
What's that supposed to mean?
Yeah, cock man oppressor.
Fred is a white devil's conspiracy.
I need to remind you that this house already has enough complaints to qualify for a sensitivity awareness weekend. You passed out cigarettes for a smoke-a-thon on Earth Day. You installed speed bumps on the handicap ramps. And most recently, you dumped 100 pounds of meat on a peaceful vegan protest.
Oh, come on, that was way more than 100 pounds.
Well, I think bisexual Asian studies should have its own building. The question is, who goes? The math department or the hockey team?
Pack up your rape culture and take a hike.
It is our duty to fight for freedom! It is our duty to fight for freedom! It is our duty to win! It is our duty to win! We must love and support each other! We must love and support each other! We have nothing to lose but our chains! We have nothing to lose but our chains!
Hey, can I talk to you?
No, you need to get out. You need to get out.
No, I don't.
You need to get out.
Oh, we should go.
Man, there's some weird shit happening on campuses these days.
Hey! Mark, just stand there. Mark, stay there. Let him go. Let him go. Mark!
I mean, we have a bunch of spoiled babies here who don't understand the difference between speech and violence.
You're not entitled to just come, spew hate, create violent rhetoric, and make the campus unsafe.
Oh no, that's a real thing. See, the words could create little holes to open up your chest. We call them speech bullets, and they can cause real death and harm. This is why we want to turn the colleges into safe spaces like, you know, daycares.
No, I don't agree with that.
Then why the fuck did you accept the position?
Because
Who the fuck hired you?
I have a different
You
vision.
should step down. If that is what you think about being on the master, you should step down. It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not. Do you understand that? It's about creating a home here.
That particular shrieking harlot just protected the Yale student body from the very deadly danger of American Indian Halloween costumes. Could have been a massacre. Thank God for her. Oh my God, what is that? Is that period blood? I don't even know what to make of this one. That is quite enough out of you there, tons of fun. Seriously. College students acting like morons is nothing new. What is new is that we have a whole group of professors not only joining in, but acting like mafioso enforcers for their ridiculous style of groupthink.
Hi, media. Can I talk to you?
No, you need to get out. You need to get out.
No, I don't.
You need to get out.
I actually don't.
All right. Hey, who wants to help me get this reporter out of here? I need some muscle over.
Well, I think you get the idea. Question is, how do we get here? Could we have seen it coming? Well, as it turns out, there was a movie that did see it coming, and it was in my opinion, the most important movie in the last 25 years. Was it Schindler's List? No. Armageddon? Close. It's called PCU.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. This little-known throwaway college frat pick that came at the tail end of the party movie phase that started with Animal House is now the most important movie you can watch today. This so-called silly movie has more relevance in today's cultures than anything those oh-so-very important movies like the Academy likes to slobber over, like 12 Years a Slave or Crash or Lord of the Rings. Hashtag Orc Lives Matter, bitches. Look, seriously, the Academy likes to congratulate themselves on Hollywood's virtue signaling by making movies about problems no later than 50 years ago. Slavery, racism, homophobia. Showing America's past faults is like porn to these people. Hey, Hollywood, we get it. Next up for your consideration, Loving. A very important and topical story about interracial marriage in 1967 Alabama. Seriously, who gives a fuck about interracial marriage anymore? Well, yes, okay, yeah. But the rest of Western civilization, hey Hollywood, we get it, and we fixed it years ago. The fucking Jeffersons were more relevant than you guys are. And PCU is more relevant today than any of the self-hating dreck we're forced to fawn over. And why is it so relevant? Well, that's the point of this in-depth analysis.
Just try to relax.
So why is this movie so overlooked? Why is it so relevant today? Well, let's start by talking about how it came about. PCU is a quick throwaway movie directed by Hart Bochner. Yeah, that guy. Really? This guy in Die Hard.
Hans. Bobby.
I'm not kidding. It's the most important movie of 25 years and was directed by the coke fiend in Die Hard. You remember the guy who tried to make a deal with Severus Snape and got blown away. Oh, wait, that was Takagi. Nah, there we go. Don't worry, kids. Die Hard didn't really kill him. Hell, even Supergirl couldn't kill his career. He didn't even seem to really care about it. He just wanted the experience of becoming a director. His politics really don't seem the most well thought out.
American emits 1 ton of carbon dioxide every 2 weeks. How big is a ton? You're looking at it.
What? Your face? Look, I don't want to pick on Hart. He seems like a decent enough guy, and I'm sure he's had more success in movie making than I'll ever have. My point is, I don't think he was trying to make anything more than what PCU appears on the surface. A silly college party movie with maybe a little twist that would hopefully make a little money, which, by the way, it didn't make shit. So, PCU follows the story of a group of college students who make up a non-frat called The Pit. The story starts with Tom. He's a pre-frosh who's touring the campus and trying to decide if he wants to go there. He ends up being shown around campus by The Pit, who are the misfit but the heroes of campus, or at least of this movie. Tom, through accidents and misunderstandings, ends up pissing off everyone on campus. Meanwhile, the president of the campus is trying to get The Pit booted off campus because she just doesn't like him. They don't conform. She uses as an excuse a damage assessment and charges them $5,000 she assumes they won't be able to pay. The Pit throws a giant party, raises the money, but the president had a double secret probation going on that the party violated, so they get booted off campus.
You're out of here.
The Pit gets everyone to support them during an important celebration to get her fired.
You're fired, Thompson!
And the Pit students back in. Tom decides to come to Port Chester in the fall, and the bad guys get their comeuppance. So if you look at the plot on the surface, it's pretty standard stuff. The devil's in the details, my friends. Symbolically, there's a ton going on here. Symbolism that was never intended, I'm quite sure. This is symbolism I say is in the movie now, given the state of universities and heck, the culture war now. You may not see it the same way, but my way is correct. Shut the fuck up, Nietzsche. If you haven't seen the movie, go see it now. Come back. It's only 84 minutes with credits, for Christ's sake. The commentary that I'm going to do here is probably going to be longer. Go on. Done? Fine. let's talk about the characters. Actually, the characters or the groups of characters. We're going to show how each have their own analog in today's world. Some obvious, some less so. Number 1, the PC groups. Number 2, President Thompson.
Oh, thank God, President Garcia Thompson.
Number 3, Balls and Shaft. Yes, it's a real group. And number 4, the Pit. Each of these are easily grouped into what's going on today. Now, I'm sure you can poke holes into my analogies. Indeed, these comparisons aren't foolproof. There's a lot missing here. I'll save you the time of trolling my video and just tell you I know this isn't perfect. But let's talk about each of them. First, the PC groups. They're the SJWs. Now, each group is balkanized into their own grievous group. You have the wominists, which are basically third-wave feminists, the Black Lives Matter people, the gay transgendered complainers, and finally the cause heads. As Draws says, these are people who stick with a world-ending cause for about a week. To me, these are like the Steve Shives of the movies. They aren't of any particular grievance group, but they try to be a part of every grievance group. If you saw the guy, the white male, screaming that other white males were white males, you pretty much got the idea. They are a nasty combination of arrogance and white guilt.
You're fucking a white male!
Jesus Christ, gargling fiberglass would be less painful than these two. All these groups, though, are massive contradictions just like today. They're easily manipulated. They're totally authoritarian. They believe in fighting the big fight for justice and history that they don't know anything about either. They're fascist.
Right,
See these girls? Yeah. No, you don't. Those are women. You call them girls, and they'll pop your fig.
Stop the violator!
See, you try and spread joy and then the PC shock truth to shut you down.
Whiny.
I'm a black man. There's no justice for me here in America. I should be at the front of the line.
Yeah, well, I'm gay and subject to ridicule and discrimination wherever I go.
Women are oppressed throughout the world. Give it a rest.
And stupid.
Free Nelson Mandela!
They freed him already.
They think they are changing the system, but they don't understand what the system is, who's really pulling the strings, and their behavior is learned behavior. President Garcia Thompson and Balls and Shaft that's really pulling their strings. Let's start with President Thompson. She represents the academics and the leadership administration, but she also represents the politicians. I mean, Jesus Christ, look how much she looks like Nancy Pelosi. Totally corrupt. She uses the students for her own gain, which appears to be power. She doesn't really have any character, and I don't mean like character in the movie, I mean like character like decency. She works with the hated Republicans to achieve complete control over the campus. She wants to destroy traditional classes like math in favor of bisexual Asian studies or other equally useless courses.
They're doing a whole unit on quilting and the significance of the feather stitch to the American dream.
Just like today's power brokers in academia teach classes that get the students' emotions up, or at the very least, inflate grades. Remake the college into whatever SJW paradise she thinks it should be. Never mind if the education is actually useful in the real world. We have dumb voters to get out into the world. There's only one group standing in her way, and that's the Pit. The Pit are us. If you're followers of guys like Milo Yiannopoulos or the anti-SJW community on YouTube, then you've got the Pit. You understand them. They're the people who are reacting to the craziness that's happening, to the constant haranguing on what to eat, what to say, how to behave, how to think. They completely understand the fascism that's going on in campuses right now.
Here's the deal. You gotta get all this 50s cornball shit out of your head. It's a whole new ball game on campus these days, and they call it PC.
PC?
Politically correct. And it's not just politics, it's everything. It's what you eat, it's what you wear, and it's what you say. And if you don't watch yourself, you can get in a buttload of trouble.
Does any of this sound familiar today, boys and girls?
So you won't get rid of the doll then? Because that was like really cute thing that you found at Goodwill. You're in your car, like that doll is offensive to me, but you don't want to take it down because you like found it at Goodwill and it's fine. No, I do want you to, because it's actually deeply offensive. No, I do want you to take it down.
Alright, well, I mean, obviously you're gonna give me a 1 star, but I'm not taking it down, so I'm sorry about that.
I'm gonna do worse than give you a 1 star.
Whatever you like, I'm not trying to offend you. If you want to drop me off over here or at the next exit, I can do that, but...
No, I would like you to take me to my destination.
I will do that, but
Thank
I
you.
don't think my beautiful lady Lola is offending you.
That's okay. You're gonna be on Gawker. No, you will be published on Gawker. And you'll be like the next internet meme. It's gonna be super funny.
Yeah.
You want my name?
Yeah, sure.
It's humongous.
Okay. Humongous what? Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
That's what it is.
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment?
Lower your voice.
Are you going to do anything about how you sexually harass me? Are you going to do anything about how you sexually harass me? Are you going to?
I need to go.
You're okay. He's asking me to leave. He's asking me to leave after I've been sexually harassed.
I'm just asking.
You're asking me to leave after I've been sexually harassed. Did you ask him to leave?
You know, this place is kind of insane.
These are the group of people who just want to party, do their own thing, maybe even open up their own businesses.
All right, what do you need? Bottle rockets, dental dams, ready whips, term paper.
These guys want to make their own choices, even if they're wrong or silly. They aren't asking anyone to fix things for them. They aren't listening to anyone, and that's what Garcia Thompson cannot tolerate. I think you can see the similarities from the last 2 clips. Only Garcia Thompson isn't quite so vapid or shrill. She could probably do all the things she wants and just leave them alone, but she has to control everything. How is this different than the progressives left that's in power now? There's no more brilliant illustration of these 2 competing philosophies than this moment in the film.
Please put out that cigarette right now.
Oh, all right. So here's a woman who comes in to a man's own house, a man who's in his late 20s because he's been in college for 8 years, and tells him to put out a cigarette that he's smoking in his own home. And conversely, his reaction is to simply not do it. He even agrees with her and says, okay, I'll do it, and just does it. And this is the difference. He didn't whine. He doesn't show a protest. He doesn't care. He just doesn't comply.
Please put out that cigarette right now.
Oh, all right. So when we find the university, we see the useful idiots screaming and yelling for what they think they want. Protesters like to think that they're bucking the system. You can see they are dutiful servants of the system. When someone screws with their plans, they start filling out forms. Is there anything more bureaucratic, anything more than a cog in the system than filling out forms? There is a process in place to deal with your hurt fifis. Here it's a form. In the real world, it's safe spaces and trigger warnings. There's nothing rebellious about this. There's nothing free, spirited about this. The protests are exactly what the president wants, especially if they're protesting the pit. Garcia Thompson has the university set up exactly what she wants, and the students are readily obeying. You're being used. Today, from the professors to the politicians, they get our various grievance groups to do the same thing. Black Lives Matter, LGBT groups, feminists, they're all marching to the regressives' drum. Hillary loves this shit. Regressive power brokers want nothing more. We are starting Twitter hashtags against people who make dongle jokes. We are fighting against each other instead of looking at people with actual power.
You know, it used to be the administration's job to make rules. It used to be us against them. Now it's us against us.
You said it, brother. Look at how they act in this movie, constantly having protests, separated out into various grievance groups, and each group looks depressingly the same. The blacks all wear yellow and are, black. The feminists all wear olive drab, look kind of militant, and they're all women. The only thing these groups agree on is when they find someone that doesn't toe the line.
I saw him at the cafeteria this morning. Yeah. He was recruited for the CIA.
CIA, huh? I heard he injected all the meat with hormones before throwing it out the grill.
He is wearing brown shoes with a blue blazer. I mean, can you believe it? How hit?
So tell me, how many people have you seen hounded off Twitter with a swarm of SJW mobs with no information and a lot of emotion and basically just a rush to judgment? Where do you think they get all this from? It's from the professors. It's from the authority. They are the military arms of the administration. Does this sound familiar?
All right. Hey, who wants to help me get this reporter out of here? I need some muscle over.
They try to actively murder that person. I mean, seriously, look at this mob. All that's missing is torches and pitchforks. And look at the SJW mobs today. Hashtag campaigns to get people fired. Mobs attacking Trump supporters. Look at these crazy people. So what's the object of that hatred? Those who don't get with the program, the pit. Here's a group of people who are just trying to get by. They don't want to be told how to think. They recognize the fascist regressives for what they are. They're also really good at living in reality. Take Draz's speech and explaining exactly what college is really all.
But here's all you need to know. Classes, nothing before 11. Beer, it's your best friend, you drink a lot of it. Women, you're a freshman, so it's pretty much out of the question. We have a car?
No.
Someone on your hall will. Find them and make friends with them on the first day. Anything else?
They are regular people who want to do what they want to do, not what they are told.
Well, I live in a house called The Pit, and there are a lot of nice people who live there, too.
Well, it's the best place on campus. I mean, there are no rules.
A lot of music, a lot of nice people, a lot of extracurricular activities going on in these houses.
Unlike the SJW groups on campus, the Pit is pretty diverse. There's a white guy, there's women, black, some gays, and Jon Favreau. They accept these people easily. They accept new people easily. They have different interests, sports, TV, music. The new guy comes in and they're nice to him, relatively speaking, in this movie's universe. They don't care what he says or what he thinks, as long as he doesn't try to tell them what to do. They just want to do normal college stuff. But the SJWs have made it so that the simple act of eating is a political statement. It's nuts. Just getting from the dorm to the cafeteria is a regressive minefield full of insults and intimidation. When they want to eat, they can't because the regressives don't like the meat that they want to eat. So they react. They start throwing the meat on the regressives. They just want to eat. That's all they want to do. It's the regressives that think they're the ones being violated, but they're the ones that disbanded frats. They're the ones tossing paint at people. They're the ones that are stopping people from enjoying the food they like. No sports, no nothing. It's oppressive. People screaming oppressive all the time to make you adjust your behavior or to stop you from doing what you want to do are the ones who are oppressive. So, the Pit throws the meat back at them in defiance of the orthodoxy. Now, here's where the dutiful servants of the orthodoxy run back to the authority figure to take care of it. They fill out their little forms. They show her very due respect and deference. It reminds me of all the Democrats fawning over Obama or Hillary. And quite frankly, there's a few Trump supporters out there as well that projecting all their hopes and ideas onto them and being very subservient. That's not America to me. Yes, hashtag not all, but so many. So, the one group I haven't talked about is the David Spades. These are the establishment Republicans. These are the conservatives that give conservatism a bad name. Old money, old values, old racism, etc. They used to be that frat you saw in every 80s movie. You know, like James Spader in Pretty in Pink, or Johnny in Karate Kid, or Johnny in Just One of the Guys, or Johnny in Back to School. Holy shit, this guy really was the go-to blonde douchebag of the 80s, wasn't he? Anyway, the David Spades used to have that frat house occupied by the Pit, and they want things back the way they were. Garcia Thompson is the Democrats and the regressives. She is the power, but power is the only thing that's important to her. Oh, sure, she may believe in some of the things that she's putting in place, but she's more than willing to just work with her hated enemy and cash in on whatever principles she may have had just to get back at the side that she doesn't like. The only people that are really the enemy to regressives are those that threaten their power. Establishment Republicans really aren't any different. We know the regressives are only about power. That's why we see the hypocrisy abound with them. The GOP really isn't any different. Both sides know there are people who support them, and they use us to get what they want. Now, Republican establishment, traditional religion, old money, these are kind of things that they're clinging on to that really don't have any political power anymore. As you can see in the movie, the David Spades are a tiny group and are rendered pretty much irrelevant. But this minority of them still wield some power in the form of money, establishment power. We're being used by these groups. They've successfully got us all battling each other over absolute crap. Unfortunately, the regressives are the ones that are winning. Dems have academia, and they are putting out stupider people from college than when they went into college.
Finishing his senior thesis. Pigman is trying to prove the Caine-Hackman theory. No matter what time it is, 24 hours a day, you can find a Michael Caine or a Gene Hackman movie playing on TV.
But that's his thesis?
Yes. That's the beauty of college these days, Tommy. You can major in Game Boy if you know how to bullshit.
They are keeping us angry or afraid, making sure that we always have an enemy. And they certainly aren't giving us any facts. They're just ginning up our emotions. So left or right. So simple, so easy. Pick your side, begin fighting the other side. Don't think about the issues too much. Don't do any real research on the facts. Just watch the media. They'll decide what you should think is important. Remember, only our side can save you from the other side. Just don't look too closely at what we're doing up here on high. Here's where the movie gets interesting. Garcia has her smoking gun. Get $5,000 for the damage assessment, or the pit gets kicked out. It reminds me of a tax shakedown. Now, this isn't her main weapon, but we'll get to that later. So the pit decides to throw a party.
Wait a second. You guys are talking about a party.
Ding, 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 ding. Got her tell her what she's won.
They try to do it the old-fashioned way. They advertise poorly. They get party drinks and fail.
Oh shit, the beer!
They get their band ready, who almost gets killed. Now, whether this is by their own efforts or the universe's will, everything they try fails as long as Garcia Thompson is in power. So, they lock her up. They literally lock her up with David Spade in a cocktail party and torture them with the Starland vocal band, which is awesome. So for a portion of the movie, authority is rendered powerless. It has no ability to affect the students anymore. So what happens? Well, things start to fall into place. They successfully get beer and liquor. They have George Clinton and the Parliament Funkadelic magically drop into their lap.
Listen, we couldn't help but notice that you're George Clinton.
Yeah.
Listen, George, we've had a real bad day. The president of the university has been spanking us with a $7,000 damage bill. We were gonna rob a 7-Eleven. We don't have enough ski masks, right? So what are we gonna do? We're gonna throw an all-campus rocker. The only problem is we don't have the artillery.
Listen, please. What you want from me? What are you trying to say?
We were hoping you could play our party.
What?
And the students come. At first, the various protesters are skeptical.
Oh, wait a minute, what am I saying? If you guys aren't doing anything tonight, we got George Clinton inside. He's tuning up on the main stage.
Sounds like another one of the white man's lies to me. Or maybe not. Let's check it out.
But once they realize that George Clinton has come, thanks to the shackling of authority, they join in. And everybody joins. Look at it. Do you see separate groups here? Even the most radical among them decide to join the fun.
Can't believe the naked guy showed.
Naked guy! Excellent butt! Now it's a party!
And as an aside, one of the groups that was angry had a very practical, non-political reason to be angry. They lost all their theses they were working on when Tom accidentally blew up the computer lab. So, Draws gives away all the products he normally would sell to help them out.
Okay, what's your major?
Particle physics?
Yeah, that's a tough one. Ooh, motion of helium atoms in an excited state. Watch out, it's a scorcher. Next.
Sanskrit.
Sanskrit. You're majoring in a 5,000-year-old dead language.
Yeah.
Useless majors. Inflating your student loan since 1994. Now, you can question the ethics of giving away theses as plagiarism, but in a college where you can pretty much major in anything, including Game Boy, is this college really giving their kids their money worth of a proper education anyway? Point is, Draws helps in a time of crisis. He doesn't take advantage of the situation. They only charge for the party. Well, and the bathroom. I mean, come on, man. College kids can fuck up a bathroom. So once Garcia Thompson breaks out of her prison, she comes back to the party and brings the real soldiers. The useful idiots are no longer useful, and real muscle will now assert control. Uniformed military, possibly armed, definitely a show of power she is willing to use if people don't conform and don't step back in line. The protesters see this. They leave, but they aren't the same anymore. They've had their eyes open. The leader thanks the pit for the party, but has to actually remember to call them oppressors.
Bye. Thanks for the party, oppressors.
But it's a half-hearted insult. The pit gave the party, authority shut it down with uniformed police. This is oppression, and the cat's out of the bag. Make no mistake, people, authoritarians are the ones who will do anything to keep their power. Academia, big business, large central governments, and the media, they all got their self-interest, and it really doesn't involve giving you the ability to criticize or do things that doesn't help them. Taxes are out of control. Corruption is rampant. Media is dishonest. And academia activism, it's all there to keep us fighting about the silly and the stupid. Anyone who calls out people abusing their authority are the ones who are getting hurt. That's why they keep us fighting each other. What do you think YouTube Heroes is all about? Whether it's getting demonetized on YouTube to having free speech criminalized, it's authority who is winning. We can't keep playing their games anymore. And yet, you regressives just let your emotions get the better of you and are willing, useful idiots of your professors, social media, or politicians. I mean, Christ, YouTube actually wrote code to make you their little army of snitches on the basis of simply disagreeing with someone politically. You really want to be used like this? And it's clear most of you don't even know what you're so mad about.
Okay, so apparently that is for a Donald Trump supporter that's holding a rally out here, and he was brought here by a Republican orator here on campus. This is very difficult because this man is a bigot. This man supports all types of negativity and just he embodies oppression.
Yeah,
and
what kind of statements does, in your opinion, or things that he does that show that bigotry to you?
Well, see, this is my first time actually hearing of him.
Well then, Jesus Christ, why do you dislike him so much?
And I'm pretty close to Regina, the student that we have from Students for Democratic Society that came out and spoke. And she told me that he makes some pretty hateful statements.
Oh, so Regina, who has her own little organization there on campus and her own agenda, told you something and you just took it as gospel and you have no idea what's going on.
Don't be that guy.
See, this kid seems like a nice kid. He's trying to do something right, and he's being lied to by somebody who he trusts. This Regina, she's a piece of shit. And everybody who is lying to these kids and telling them these lies are all pieces of shit. Kids, you're being used. And that's what PCU was really trying to get across. Maybe not on purpose, but that was the message of the movie, and that's the thing that I want you to get out of this movie. So continuing. In the movie, the pit realizes this, and they decide to expose Garcia Thompson for what she is. There is a big ceremony at the end of the movie that everyone is apparently required to attend. Garcia Thompson, in her moment of triumph, tears down the last symbol of tradition by changing the school mascot to the whooping crane from an offensive Indian. But look at the crowd. It's changed. It's diverse. It's mixed up. There are no groups protesting anything, and they aren't even any groups anymore. They are different, but together. Sure, they will still wear the same clothes they wore before, but now they are showing some individuality. United by their own agency, they will not be used anymore. They hold a no protest protest. Talk about not playing their game anymore.
We're not gonna protest! We're not gonna protest!
We're not gonna protest.
We're not gonna protest.
We're not gonna protest. We're not gonna protest.
We're not gonna protest.
We're not gonna protest.
We're not gonna protest.
So everyone is exposed. The David Spades are for what they are, and Garcia Thompson is fired.
Your seat. Be quiet.
Thompson, your inability to control the students has convinced us that you are an ineffective president.
What? What are you talking about?
You're fired, Thompson. Dismissed, booted, sacked, history, shit canned out of.
The pit gets to live again as they please. I wish it were this simple. I wish there was only one person pulling the strings, one group manipulating everything, but there isn't. There's no overarching plan or conspiracy. This group hollering about systemic isms are wrong, but there aren't any systems controlling the power brokers either. I don't believe really in systems, but I do believe in structures, and there are structures that need to be removed. A central government drunk on power that's become too unwieldy to hear what any of the citizens have to say. Big multinational corporations that have the money and resources to manipulate the tax code and regulations and keep out competition. Media conglomerates and social media giants that hush all criticism. And academia keeps pumping out useful idiots that allow these others to keep their power. Don't think academia doesn't get a lot of their grants from big corporations either to do a lot of their research. This movie pegged it all. We are angry because we think we are powerless, and as long as we keep fighting amongst ourselves and pretending that our political leaders are like religious leaders, we will keep descending until the barbarian hordes come in and take us all out. Think about it. Look at the people you listen to the most and be skeptical. Take 5 minutes out and verify a claim. Check the facts. Challenge your own beliefs. Don't be so quick to give power over your life to these snake oil salesmen. And for God's sakes, let's stop believing that the people living their lives and trying to have some fun are some sort of oppressors. Maybe if you unclench for 5 minutes, you might actually have some fun.
You want a brew dog?
We're not interested in your penis.
Wait, I think he's offering us a beer. Yes, we would like a beer.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a beer.
It's like if you're nice to them, they bring you things?
Exactly.
We who disagree. We who believe in free speech for all. We who hold people up to the same standards across the board. We who make jokes. We who condemn terrorism. We who don't see skin color. We who are suspicious of authority. We are not the enemy. Woodward and Bernstein were once told to follow the money to uncover corruption. These days, it's follow the power. Those who have it and those who don't. Social media like Twitter, YouTube, banks, multinational businesses, billionaire activists, and of course, corrupt politicians, not to mention the media. These are the people that have the power. The system doesn't need to be burned, but it does need to be pruned. Power must be limited or it will be abused. We'll never make that happen until we stop believing that the people, the fellow citizens that we live with and we simply disagree with, are the enemies. In PCU, the pit got the SJWs to realize that. I hope the kids watching this, about to enter college, will realize it too. Thank you for watching.